Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and you're very welcome to this autumn video all about crocuses, and more specifically planting crocuses in a lawn so that they naturalise and in spring come up with beautiful little heads of colour. Now there's something magical about a crocus lawn where it's very informal, very childlike, very colourful and very joyous, and I want that look in my garden. So today we're going to plant some crocuses and just see how it's done. And stay tuned for the very end of the video where I'll be giving you a look at my autumn flowering crocuses. If you want a crocus lawn, the first question you need to ask yourself is which crocus. And Crocus thomasinianus is the one that's generally recommended as the best to come back year on year in your lawn and to seed and spread and provide you with so much colour going forward. And I have purchased 500 crocuses thomasinianus, and I got them from a company in the Netherlands called bulby.nl. And if you don't know this company, really you should check them out, because for anyone in the EU it really is the easiest and most cost-effective way to buy large volumes of bulbs. Now I will link to the site in the video description. The next question you need to ask is where you're going to site your crocus lawn. And the best advice is that you should plant it in an open, sunny position under a deciduous tree. Now, if you have a beautiful, lush, well-fertilised green lawn, then that isn't the best place to plant a crocus lawn. Crocuses do well where the grass is slightly neglected and not so very well tended. You should also consider that this grass is going to have to be allowed to grow long for several weeks after the crocuses have finished flowering. So if you're very concerned about how well your lawn looks, then perhaps a crocus lawn isn't the thing for you. You are going to have an area which is looking quite messy until the leaves die down, the nutrients have gone back into the bulbs, and then you can mow your lawn and allow it to look neat for the rest of the summer. So the spot I've chosen for my crocus lawn is here underneath this deciduous tree. It's a cherry blossom tree that's now in full leaf, and that's okay, because in spring you have to remember there are going to be no leaves. So you're going to be able to look through the canopy and see all these little purple jewels dotting up through the grass. You may wonder what the yellow line is there. Well, that's the hose, and that's just delineating the edge of where I want the crocuses to be. I need a path here to get to my greenhouse, and I don't want crocuses wasting themselves by popping up in a place where they're going to be mown. So the first thing we need to do is to make an H shape in our lawn. Now, crocuses are small bulbs, and as we all know, all bulbs need to be planted at 3 times their height. That's one arm of the H cut. We'll now cut across like this. So in cutting out this H, I'm trying to cut it to just 3 times the height of the bulbs. And down here on the other arm of the capital H. Now it can be hard to see here, but there's one line of the H. It goes across like that, and it goes down like that. And you're going to see it better when I attempt to peel back the grass that I have just cut. The next thing you need to do is to slip your spade in underneath the sod, both at the front and sideways. This isn't something they mention when you read instructions about planting a crocus lawn. Do this all the way around your flap. Okay, there we go. That was easier said than done. Now I'm going to open my crocuses and lay them in here. Okay, now it's important to put the crocuses in the right way up, so it's pointy side up and flat side down, and we're just going to lay them in a random pattern around here. And one thing to note is how much a lawn will eat up crocuses. Now I'm going to lay back over the sod like that. And on the other side, like that. And press it down to make sure that it all joins up. You can actually put a little bit of compost in here if needs be to just make sure there are no holes. And now let's move on to the next patch. I think this time round I'll make the H a little bit a little bit smaller than before. Now I guess the disadvantage of doing this around a deciduous tree is that there are tree roots to contend with. As you can see, my 500 crocuses went into only 2 and a bit strips of H's. And that means that the rest of the space at the back will be blank. Now there are different ways of looking at this. Some people may decide to spread their crocuses to plant them more widely and just trust that over time with naturalization and seeding, the spaces between crocuses will fill in. But I'm of the school of thought that you need to plant thickly, and I do this because I want to see crocuses along the edge of this grass path on the way to the greenhouse, not just 1 or 2 over a wide sparse area. And there we are. I think I'm just about done now, certainly done in the kind of exhausted sense of the word. It was harder than I thought it was going to be. Now just a few words on aftercare. These crocuses should come up through the grass next spring. They're triggered when the soil gets warmer and up they come. They will flower, hopefully, flower beautifully. You mustn't deadhead the bulbs. If you deadhead the bulbs, then they can't set seed and they can't naturalize, because naturalization relies on seed being allowed to pass around into other areas that don't yet have bulbs in. Also, you must let the foliage die down completely. So it needs to be really yellow before you consider mowing, and that means that you have to let the grass grow for several weeks after the flowers have finished, which mightn't appeal to some people who like a kind of neat lawn. Also, don't use weed killer, don't fertilize, and don't aerate your lawn. This lawn is for the crocuses and it's just the way they like it. And now finally, after all this hard work, I want to cheer you up by showing you my autumn crocuses, which are now in full bloom. We're going to have to go down to the other end of the garden and have a look at them. These gorgeous Crocus speciosum open up when the sun comes out. I have these bulbs planted here in a border, and they're in here for 10 years. I bought 25 bulbs 10 years ago, and they haven't seeded about, but the bulbs have certainly bulked up. These crocuses are planted in a border under a deciduous tree, and every autumn they pop up without me having to do anything with them at all. They're just very reliable. Now they flower, and what you really need to do when they start to flower is to go down and just tend to them a little. Remove the dead leaves and cut back any spent flowers, because you know, you planted them there so that you can enjoy them. So what's the point in them going to all the trouble of flowering if you can't enjoy it to the full? Unfortunately, on dull days, the crocuses remain closed, but that's a great opportunity to properly examine the veining on the back of these absolute beauties. The lilac colour is very, very beautiful, and the veining just adds to the overall effect. The saffron orange centres are a wonderful contrast to the darkness of the flowers around them. This crocus is known as Bieberstein's crocus, and it's also known as the large autumn flowering crocus, and I highly recommend it to anybody who wants a little something extra at this end of the year. And it's all very well growing things that look wonderful in summer, but I always think it's a test of a true gardener if you want things and grow things that are there when other people don't come to look at them. And that brings me to the end of this video on crocus, on planting a crocus lawn, which I very much look forward to next spring. I hope you'll check back to see one of my garden tours when these little beauties pop up. And thank you as always for watching. I will see you on the next video. Bye.